Hi there, and welcome to the What's New of STX Cloud version 2.5. So STX Cloud version 2.5 is packed with mostly speed improvements, aesthetic updates throughout the pages of the software, and some new features requested by our fabulous users. It's important to note that you'll want to enable any worker permissions to enable allow access or deny access to new features and reports. Okay, so first things first, we improved the general speed of our software. So the speed has been improved. You should definitely notice that. Also, one of the new features is on the appointment book, if I move an appointment from this time to a later time, it's going to ask that am I sure I want to move this appointment? And when I click yes, then it will move it. If I click no, it'll leave it right where it is. If I move it to another worker that perhaps doesn't provide that service, it's going to warn me this worker does not provide that service. So it's protecting you from moving appointments to service providers that maybe don't offer that service. So I can click no, and it will stay right where it's supposed to be. The other additions we made to the appointment book calendar is if I scroll down below the appointment book to the appointment list, now you're going to see an option to sort my appointment list. So I can sort this by first name, last name, an appointment status, or the original default, which is appointment time. We also added the worker names to the bottom of the calendar. If you're like me, I use a very small screen. So in this, I can use this bottom part to say, oh, okay, I'm just trying to put a 4 o'clock on this today for Jessica P. Another thing we added to the appointment book is appointment book values. So those are over here to the left. So you're going to see you have 5 workers, 8 appointments, how many were rebooked, you're booked online, your booked dollar amount, and your ticketed amount, so how much you've ticketed. These are similar factors to the dashboard that we have in STX. If you do not want this to appear to your workers, that is an option. You can go to Setup, Setup Workers, Worker Details, select the worker, select the Other tab, and then just check this box to hide appointment book values. Okay, so another update we did is on the checkout screen. So you'll notice anytime you add a product, a service, a tip, a promotion, if you remove something, edit something, it's going to have a new look. So instead of a pop out, now it's a slide out. So if I click women's haircut here, it's going to slide out. I just select the worker. I can apply a promotion if needed, and I just click add to ticket, and that will add to my ticket. So the great thing is I can still see my receipt, and it's a lot bigger and a little more streamlined. We also updated the payments tab. So if I select cash for this, so maybe they're going to do $10 cash, I put in my amount to apply, and I click apply payment. So you'll notice that screen is new as well. Another thing we've added is in the gift redeem option, there's an option to search for the gift balance. So I have a gift in here, and then I click the enter button and it will show me the current balance on that gift card, which is $100. And then I can select how much to apply. So you do now have to enter the amount. So right now the balance due is $41. If I only want to use $20 or a specific amount, I can do that, but we'll say the full 41, and click apply payment. And now my ticket's completed. There is another new feature on the checkout screen. If I click plus to add a tip, I can put in here, maybe there's a $10 tip, and I can select the payment type. So this didn't exist before, it was by default cash, but now I can select that they gave me maybe a $10 check and that's their tip. And then I just go ahead and click save. And of course I can add other workers and update these amounts as needed. Great. And of course to save. Okay, let's see here. The next feature that I want to show you is in the dashboard. So what some of you may have noticed is if you ever pulled up the dashboard, it kind of takes a long time. Well, the reason that is because we're pulling data for the entire month, the entire month and the entire year. Towards the end of the year, that's a lot of data. We didn't realize how slow that got because a lot of our testing for this feature was done back in January. So what we've done is we've added tabs. So the report doesn't generate for the year unless you click on it. So that should speed up your process. And we've also added this message. Mine's working so quickly. But there is a message that lets you know that this can take up to 2 minutes for some of the reports, just based on how much data you have. The more employees, the more transactions you have, the longer this will take to generate. But we really love these tabs. They're a great addition to the software. Okay, and then next on my list is the product sales chart graph. So if I go to reports, sales reports, product sales chart, we've updated this. So it used to be each individual product, and now it's going to go by product line, and it's going to use the product line color you have assigned to it to identify right here on the pie chart. So we've just simplified it for you. We also, on the reports, transaction reports, daily cash drawer, we've added filters so that you can select which cash drawer and which shift to pull the cash drawer report for. We also added sort options. So if I go to reports, inventory reports, or nope, sorry, that's under here. So if I go to inventory and then inventory physical checklist, we've added a sort here. So if you want to sort by name or by SKU, you can do that. So based on how you're set up for that. So that is an option. And then under reports, inventory reports, and on-hand reports, we've also added a option to sort by SKU or alphabetically here as well. We have made a change on all of our setup pages. So if I go to setup, and then I'll show you an example of setup service groups. So what we've done is we've removed the borders here, and it just looks a lot cleaner. And then we've also moved the add new button to the top, and we just moved the show inactive over to the right. So we really just modernized this page, and then we kept everything else the same. Okay, you will notice some of the drop downs are sleeker looking, but nothing worth writing home about. Okay, also in setup, if I go to setup, appointments and emails, online booking, there's now a direct link to your gift purchases. So just in time for the holidays, sorry, we were trying to make this happen sooner for everybody, but you have your online booking URL, and that'll take you to your online booking page. But the online gift URL, if I copy paste that, I'm going to open it up in a different window, and I'm going to plug my URL in there, and it just takes me straight to that page. So that is an option as well. Okay, we also added more reminder time. So it used to be the reminders were sent every hour on the hour. What we've done is we've adjusted this for you. So now you can select 15-minute intervals. So that's pretty great. And then another feature, and this one's real snazzy. This is the setup service, setup services. I'm going to do this for partial highlight. And how this works is I can select a required post service. So what does that mean? What we're going to tell the system is when somebody wants to schedule this partial highlight, they have to choose a blow dry or a haircut. So I'm going to select hair. We'll just say women's haircut for the first one, or blow dry. So what I'm telling the system is when someone books this partial highlight, they need to select either a haircut or a blow dry. You can keep adding more to this. And then I can select whether this is a requirement in store, so my staff is required to do it, or online. Now keep in mind the app does not yet do this, but the browser version will. So I can require them for both, and I'm going to do that. So I went ahead and hit saved. And what you'll notice is if I go ahead and let's go to tomorrow, and I select Maria, and I'm going to click on a client, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule that partial highlight. When I select that and click save, it's going to warn me and say I need to select either a haircut or a blow dry too. So internally it's just a warning, and then once I tell it, oh, okay, I'll book a blow dry with that. I click save, and now the appointment's booked. Okay, so that will also happen on Find Appointment. It's the same response. It's just that little pop-up that tells you you don't have the required services. Now, if I go online, it does make it a little easier for the online users. And let me show you that. So if I click book service and I select from my color that I want to book a partial highlight, it's going to automatically show a drop down with just an option for a haircut or a blow dry. so that they know they have to book it. And then I just select the worker who it's with, or select any worker and click search. Forgot to select Maria for the first one. So I'll do tomorrow since I know she doesn't have any availabilities today, and I can book her tomorrow at 1:30. If for any reason they did remove that, it is going to let them know they've got to pick one of those services. So that's pretty great. Okay, one other thing we did, and you'll notice it mostly in setup, is if I go to setup workers, we've removed a setup worker goals, and then also within the worker details there was a goals tab here, and then also in reports under compensation reports there was a worker goals. What had happened is that was a very basic usage. It was very early on. We put it in there just to do some very basic goal functions, but the capabilities within Billboard Goals are so much greater that we just, sorry guys, we just decided to keep that as the priority in the main goal. So you'll want to check that out. There's videos and resources on how to set up Billboard Goals. But we really think the majority of our clients by now are using the Billboard Goals, and they're pretty fantastic. Okay. The other thing we did is the preferred duration symbol. So right here you can see there's like it almost looks like a railroad track. It's also called a double dagger. And what that symbolizes is that this is a preferred duration. So if I go to this client's account, that is a preferred duration they have set up. And if I go to December 10th, you'll see here there's a checkbox for preferred duration. If I book this blow dry with Maria for this same client again, it will automatically be marked as a preferred duration, and that will appear on the appointment book. Okay. The other update we made is in setup inventory, setup products. There is now no, the limit for a SKU is 40 characters. So we had a couple people ask that this was greater than 12 or 13, which is the standard SKU, but now it is 40 characters. So that is available. And also the additional SKUs can also be 40 characters if needed. One of the requests, well, not one, I think we got it from a few people. In inventory and manage inventory, when you generated this report in the past, it was kind of hard to read the product name, but there was a ton of space for the quantity on hand and the minimum quantity. So what we've done is we've lengthened the product name so you can see the full product name, and then we just shortened these other just numerical entries. Another thing we did is, so when we do a release, you'll know what version you're on because it will be, sorry, it's cut off a little here. It'll be in the bottom right corner. So on the home page, you'll see STX Cloud version 2.5, which is the version we're releasing. And last but not least, we did add these plus and minus signs to each and every page. So we've had some feedback that some things aren't big enough, some things are too big. So whichever your preference is, like if I go to my appointment book and I want to see this a little bigger, I just click the plus sign. Now, granted, the bigger you make this, the more space the page is going to take up. So it's entirely up to you. At a certain point, it's not going to look great, so just be careful with it. But that will be consistent throughout your software. So when you go to other pages, they will be as big as that. And then you can also make it smaller and it'll recycle back and you can adjust as needed. Alrighty, well, those are all the fabulous things that are included in STX version 2.5. Thank you for watching and have a great day.